Method of education East versus West. A teacher from a Western country recently visited an elementary school in an Asian country. In one class, she watched 60 young children as they learned to draw a cat. The teacher drew a big circle on the blackboard, and 60 children copied it on their papers. The teacher drew a small circle on top of the first and then put the triangles on top of it. The children drew in the same way. The lesson continued until there were 61 identical cats in the classroom. Each student's cat looked exactly like the one on the board. The visiting teacher watched the lesson and was surprised. The teaching methods were very much different from the way of teaching in her own country. A children's art lesson in her own country produced a room full of unique pictures, each one completely different from the others. Why? What causes this difference in educational methods? In a classroom in any country, the instructor teaches more than art or history or language. He or she also teaches culture, or the ideas and beliefs of the society. Each educational system is a mirror that reflects the culture of the society. In a society such as the United States, US, or Canada, which has many national, religious, and cultural differences, people highly value individualism, the differences between people. The teacher places a lot of importance on the qualities that make each student special. The educational system in this country shows this value. Students don't memorize information. Instead, they work individually and find answers themselves. There is often discussion in the classroom. At an early age, students learn to form their own ideas and opinions. In most Asian societies, by contrast, the people have the same language, history, and culture. Perhaps for this reason, the educational system in much of the Orient reflects society's belief in group goals and purpose rather than individualism. Children in China, Japan, and Korea often work together and help each other on assignment. In the classroom, the teaching methods are often very formal. The teacher lectures and the students listen. There isn't much discussion. Instead, the students recite rules or information that they have memorized. There are advantages and disadvantages to both of the system of education. For example, one advantage to the system in Japan is that students there learn much more math and science than American students learn by the end of high school. They also study more hours each day and more days each year than North Americans do. The system is difficult, but it prepares students for a society that values discipline and self-control. There is, however, a disadvantage. Memorization is an important learning method in Japan school, yet many students say that after an exam, they forget much of the information that they have memorized. The advantage to the educational system in North America, on the other hand, is that students learn to think for themselves. The system prepares them for a society that values creative idea. There is, however, a disadvantage. When students graduate from high school, they haven't memorized as many basic rules and facts students in other countries have. And now I wanna give my opinion about the material I ever read. And the first question is, what kind of school are you studying in now? What schools have you studied in the past and where were they? Okay, now I am school in Islamic-based public college or called Islamic University Raden Fatah Palembang in Palembang, Southern Sumatra. And the next question is, what school have you studied in the past? From elementary school, I studied in madrasah. From madrasah ibtidaiyah or elementary school, I am next to madrasah sanawiyah or first secondary school and to madrasah aliyah or high school. The differences between madrasah and regular school, public school, is in the madrasah, we more detailed studies of religious science such as fiqh, Quran, hadith, and etc. Furthermore, madrasah school aren't much different from public school. And where were they? I used it to go to Lampung from elementary school until to high school. Okay, next to the second question. How did you get into the school? Tell about the entrance exam and preparation for them, school records, application, and age. I passed every new school year and enrolled in higher education. During Madrasah Sanawiyah until Madrasah Aliyah, I conducted tests that include general subject and religion. As well as when I went to high school, I took written tests with general and religious subject. It used to be not a difficult test, especially when I graduated from madrasah, so it wasn't too difficult with test problem given. When I was in high school, we didn't even have a school application. So before the pandemic, everything was done directly. So like an application, it doesn't really need it. Then we not use certain application. Campus life in this country of Indonesia, I think it might be a little different from that in your country. From what I see through the internet source of other countries, I concluded that college life abroad looks freer and more relaxed but still serious in going through the course. Especially because the culture of Indonesia are certainly quite different from that of overseas, for example in America. And then speaking about cost, uh, it must be driven in every country, and tuition fees in Indonesia usually adjust to parents' income. And the last question is, in your opinion, has college life been changing? How and why? In my opinion, campus life in Indonesia itself in the last 2 years has changed greatly since the COVID-19 pandemic. Schools and campus that had always done face-to-face learning or didn't want to have to the distance learning or online class. For some people, it may be happy with online class because it doesn't take much energy to go to school or campus and just stay and study at home. But for some people, online class are saturated and inside and are difficult to get along with friends. Meanwhile, for now, the pandemic has begun to end and slowly school and campus life will return to normal. Learning will be done at school and with face-to-face basic basis. Meanwhile, for now, the pandemic has begun to end and slowly school and campus life will return to normal. Learning will be done at school with the face-to-face basis.